A friend of mine, a golf buddy, set us up. He knew her from his mortgage business and he knew me from golf. And
we were a blind date and he was late.
No, you were late.
You were late.
I was a cool restaurant owner and just thought I was just the king of the world. And I met her and yeah, I partnered Lakai. How you doing?
I was a very busy single mom saying, okay, come on, we gotta get going.
I prioritized my business, period, and above everything. And so we had a rocky time dating. We really did.
What woman would marry a confirmed bachelor at 45? It took us 4 years.
I had a wonderful wedding up in Seattle and a wonderful honeymoon. And then a week after I got back, she'd be calling me at 2 in the morning saying, are you coming home? And I'd say, no, I've got to work. You know, I'm here. Sorry, this is my life.
Raised Catholic, grandmother was very influential in taking us all as kids to church. I always knew God was there. It wasn't that I was denying that he existed. I just denied him, you know. I would only call on God if there was major trauma, and it was always, God, why? Why are you doing this? Why is this happening?
My spiritual background was really, it's hard to say. I grew up, my mother was a Catholic. She took me to church, took me to Mass and once in a while and religiously. And then after my dad left, there was nothing in my life, zero. Had no spirituality at all, had no God. Quite the opposite, actually. Drifted further and further away from any sign of Christ, he was in my life at no time, from the time I was about 12 or 13 until 2 years ago. The way I found out about K2, I was working at the home of one of the members, and I needed to gain access to the home, to the inside of the home, and Eric Winter, the outreach director, came by, let me in. I didn't know who he was, and he just gave me a postcard and talked to me a little about the church, and that's what planted the seed, I guess. At that time, I had so much misery in my life, and I had such a longing for something to fill the void, the hole in my heart, I guess you might say, that I just, you know, I thought, wow, you know, maybe I should go look at this.
Well, Mark did go a couple times, and he came back and told me a little bit about it, and I was like, what? You know, I grew up very traditional with the Catholic Church, and I heard about motorcycles coming up the alleys, bands, because you got to see this, you know, the messages that they were saying. So I said, okay, we'll go, you know, and I remember going, and we went with another family, and we all had breakfast and talked about our experience, and I was bitten from that first day. I couldn't tell you today what that service was about, but from that point on, every message was somehow directed towards me.
When I first went to K2, I felt a spark. It was something was there, and then the journey began. Dave Nelson planted the seeds and watered them one day at Mimi's Cafe down in Murray, Utah. Just telling him the things that were going through my mind and my troubles in my heart, and how I just didn't know what to do, really. I didn't know how to go to the next level, really. And he said, I know how to do it. And he said, just let go. You're grabbing with your fingernails, just let go. And give yourself up, give yourself away. And I did. We walked out to the parking lot and we prayed, and people were walking by and looking at us, and I didn't even notice. It was amazing. And from that point on, I gave myself up and gave my life to Christ. It was as though that bear inside of me, or that that thing that I couldn't put a handle on that I was chasing, I finally found what it was, and it was Christ, and he was always right there, just standing right beside me, and I just didn't recognize that before.
I think I always knew God and Christ was there. It's just been a new walk. And every day I'm learning more and more and more, and how to walk and how to communicate with Jesus, and you know, and again, just how to give myself to God, you know, give up my problems. A few months ago, a gal came to us and talked about, introduced herself. We had never met her before, but we all knew of each other, and she knew somebody that had worked for Mark, and mentioned that you know, she had asked some of her friends for some names for people to pray for, and that Mark's name was on that. And that was a year before K2 had even gotten started, and you know, and we had learned about that a year after we had been at K2, and it was just like, wow, God is awesome. You know, all those times I sat there and said, where is he? He was there.
Without K2, without that church coming, I don't know where I'd be. It's hard to imagine how I could have survived a lot of this, really, because I was so down. I know in my heart that I laid my sins, and I did commit just about every one you could. And I know he forgave me. I know it because he floods that into my heart all the time.
Our lives are just so different. It's, you know, and I think everybody around us sees that.
Yeah, everything's different. I walk out in the morning now and I look at the clouds. I never looked at the clouds except for thought if it was going to rain or not. I look at the intricacy of his miracle, and it is truly, truly like I'm born again. And it's hard to describe. I know that's a term that's thrown out there in Christianity, but it is truly a fact, because it's changed everything inside of me, inside of us.